Everybody, let me show you what I got going on tonight. HP laptop. Customer turned it on this morning. Screen, I don't think you can see it. Screen says boot device not found. Please install an operating system on your hard disk. That is not a good sign. So usually there could be that the hard disk is corrupt. Windows can't read it. Could be that the hard drive failed completely. Could be that a connection, if it has a flex, it failed. Could be a connector on the board. Usually it's the hard drive. Hard drive either failed or the hard drive is corrupt. In either case, it's not a good situation if you don't have a backup. Because as far as the hard drive could be replaced, upgraded. Windows could be reinstalled. Those are not problems. Problem is, if you have data there that you have not backed up, that's where the challenge comes in. And this is one of those cases where we do have some data on there that has not been backed up. So in this scenario, it's going to go straight up to get the hard drive out. Other options are, boot externally to another drive. See if the, drive is visible. But it's easier just to, if the drive is in bad condition, the best thing to do is to take it out anyways. Every time it tries to boot up to that drive, if it's in bad condition, it keeps getting worse. So removal, and it could be corrupt and just readable. The Windows could be corrupt, but the drive may be readable. Or, all the data could be corrupted, and then it would require data recovery. Or the drive could just be damaged. Still would have data recovery, but a more complex data recovery, if that's the case. I got a screw back here that didn't come out. It's probably stripped inside. The little nut on the other side probably broke, came loose from the bottom. So I've got about 6 screws, little one there. Let's see. What is holding this corner in? Gonna check if the screw is. Oh, it's fine. Just didn't want to come out. So what do we have here? We're gonna have the drive underneath here. Normally these drives, you could take them off and on. Not a big deal. Whoa, this battery's expanded too. Not a big deal with the battery, but since we got this metal plate, that we're going to have to take off and on. I am going to disconnect the battery because I don't want that metal plate touching the board in the wrong spots and creating an issue. And this battery's got to be replaced as well. We'll see. Customer says they're pretty much ready for another laptop. This computer's good, but I mean, it is pretty beat up. I don't know how old it is. Does it say the generation up here? 8th generation i5. Maybe 5 years old, something like that. I mean, it's still fine. Place the battery. Whoa. This trackpad flex came out. I guess it was stuck to the bottom of the battery. So you get this little shield, it just kind of pops off. We got our RAM, and there's the solid state drive. And there it is. So we're going to put this in an enclosure, try to read it. So we got here M2 NVMe enclosure. Ooh. And we're going to connect it over here. I'm going to connect this here, and hopefully it reads so we can get our data. And the drive came up, so I could read. At least the folders are readable. I could read one folder here. So far so good. So what I'm going to do there is I'm going to back it up to my drive, make sure all the data is safe, and then from there we'll do some testing on the drive. We're going to check this, see maybe there's just a bad file, some data that's corrupted, maybe it could be corrected, um, or maybe it's damaged and it's not going to be able to be used again. So we'll run that. Also, we'll double check here. I'll put one of my drives on here. Actually, I'm going to do that. I can do that real quick. Because I got drives right here. So we got a house drive right here. Actually, sheesh, the same, I think it's the same model drive. So we'll put this one here, and that's what's going to test, the board, the connections, settings. I mean, there's only one setting that could cause that is if it got set up. Actually, it's too new. But sometimes if you have a BIOS that settings change, I mean, that doesn't happen normally. But if something strange happens and your BIOS settings change and it tells it not to boot from a drive, or it tells it to boot from a drive that's not there, or you have a legacy option open, or legacy option set up, and you're telling it to boot in legacy mode, and the drive that's there is formatted differently. I mean, you could have some software, some BIOS problems that could create that. And then also, you could have a board problem. Let's say you have that connector circuit could be bad. Could create that problem as well. So we'll boot it up with that, see how that goes. It's going to take a little bit. Usually these HPs, once you take the battery off, they kind of go through a whole, there you go, invalid checksum. So this already came up. And yeah, we got a lot of data on here. So I'm gonna just go right into the backup of this data. Get that out the way just in case. Here is drive E. And over here, this is booted up. So computer's fine. For the backup, I use Fab Auto Backup Pro. It's just easier, selects all the folders for you. If not, you could drag, but I find that the software just makes life a lot easier. So as you can see there, computer's up and running. So we got the backup going, and like I said, as soon as that backup is done, then we'll work on trying to get the computer to boot up, see if we can figure out what the problem is as far as booting. But the most important part is the backup's getting done. That's what's going on right here, right now at PC 911.